Hey guys, it's us again. I'm Matt.
And I'm Tim, and we are Team Enders Colorado. Today we're going to talk to you about where should I live in Colorado Springs. This is really subjective, and as we put this list together, I'm sure that some places were left out. And I'm sure that we probably could have put some places in here that should have been, but it'll give you a real broad stroke. So we're going to start counting this down, and we're going to start on the north end of El Paso County, which is Palmer Lake.
Yep.
Palmer Lake is extremely eclectic.
Yeah.
Many of the roads are gravel roads. It sits right up in the mountains. I mean, you talk about animals. Mountain lions occasionally will come down and go through the yards.
Yeah, I had a friend whose chickens got eaten by a mountain lion.
Wow, this is quite tasty for the mountain lion.
I'm
You
sure.
don't have to work much for it, right?
Tastes like chicken.
This is a great little area because as you go up closer to the mountains, some of these homes are built right on ledges. And you look at them, you think, wow, they could actually just fall off. But they don't. They've been there for decades and decades. And it just goes with that sort of feel. If you're the type of person that likes the flip-flops and banjos and maybe you came out of the hippie...
A new hippie or an old
the hippie era, you might like that area.
Yeah.
So,
It's a...
tell us about Monument after you're done with this.
All right. So, first thing, another thing about Palmer Lake.
Tell me,
is that
one more thing.
It's right on the border. Some of Palmer Lake is in Douglas County. So that's something you have to watch for with that. Some of it's in El Paso, some of it's in Douglas. So property taxes and stuff like that kind of maneuvers in that.
It has a lake too.
It does have a lake. It actually has two lakes technically. But you can paddleboard. You can do some fishing. A lot of people like to do ice fishing there as well.
They do. They ice fish a lot. The next one is Monument. The town of Monument and Monument proper in the outside rural areas of Monument is highly sought after.
Yep.
Both of these communities would be considered bedroom communities of Denver and also bedroom communities of Colorado Springs. It's a great area to live. If you want to live in town, you got the town of Monument. You've got a bunch of little shops, nice restaurants, Monument Lake. And you can go right up Mount Herman and go over to Woodland Park, actually.
And it has pretty good schools in Monument and Palmer Lake, which is nice. It pulls a higher tax bracket for that, but there's some nice schools.
Exactly. And some of the views here are second to none.
Oh, it's amazing.
So the next place we're going to take you to is Black Forest. Black Forest is considered Colorado Springs.
It is. And
it is gorgeous. I mean, your living out there is going to range from roughly an acre, some just a little bit under, to 5, 20, and maybe 40 acres.
And higher price point.
Higher price point. You're gonna be with homes that are probably ranging from 2,000 square feet up to maybe 6,000 or 7,000.
Heavily wooded area. You have some spots that are not as wooded as...
might be open.
That might be open. But there are some regional parks throughout there as well. I believe there's 4 or 5 regional parks all the way through Palmer Lake. So it's really pretty.
There's a ton of biking out there. You can road bike. And you have all the animals that you would think of in Colorado Springs. So now we're going to take you out to a few rural areas. Peyton. What do you know about Peyton, man?
That is where I live. I love Peyton. It's a little bit like Black Forest in the sense of larger acreages and stuff like that. But Peyton is a little lower price point. Half of Peyton is out in the plains, so you have wider spaces, open areas, really beautiful views. And then the other half of Peyton is up on Peyton Bluffs and Peyton Pines, which are...
Views of the Bijou Basin.
Yes, absolutely beautiful. So I live there. I have 5 acres there with a little house, some goats and chickens, and hopefully a cow.
So if we run out of food, we go out there and...
You better believe it, and I'll give it to
chickens. Hey, out in that area is also Calhan. Calhan is a real rural area. A lot of ranchers out there. You're going to typically look at areas of 40 plus acres. Even though the town of Calhan is pretty cool too. They have a restaurant,
it is cool.
A bar, and a grocery store. I think that makes up a pretty good town, right? Actually, there's a few other things too. We just met a couple from Calhan just the other day, and they love it out there. Also, if you go a little bit further east, you're in Ellicott. Ellicott has just really nice acreage. But it's,
really good
views.
views.
It is a bit considered more flat.
Yeah.
You know, it's not as many trees, but if you get the right areas, you'll have views too. So
yeah.
why don't you tell us a little bit about Falcon?
All right, so Falcon is towards that area as well.
That's close by you, right?
Falcon? It is. So Peyton and Falcon can kind of go interchangeably in a lot of different areas. It's a nice location. You have a bunch of family-oriented, a lot of family-oriented things in that area. It's also where most of the development at the moment is. And so you have kind of within the last 20 years is where most of the homes will be in.
Yeah.
And so as well as that's where most of the new builds are. And so you have Meridian Ranch in that area and so forth. But you also have Falcon 49, which is a school district there. And it offers
it's a very good school district.
It's a great school district, and it offers a wide variety of different learning types and different schools for different learning abilities for families. So
exactly. So let's leave the rural area and come into town.
Okay.
Briargate is one of the most sought after areas to live in town. This area has it all: parks, recreation, close to Highway 25,
great school district,
close to Powers. Yep, you've got the Powers corridor, you've got Academy, the school district. It really has it all.
Yeah, it is. You're going to be looking at a higher price point for your homes in the Briargate area, and homes tend to sell fast, so you have to know what you want and be ready
to jump, right?
Yes.
Stetson Hills in the Powers corridor. So the Powers corridor actually consists of a lot of different areas, but we're going to focus on Stetson Hills for this because it is a great area. And you know it can be really hard to get into there, primarily because the market's so hot.
Yeah.
But the Powers corridor has it all.
It really does.
Every store, restaurant, biking outlet, Lowe's, everything you could think of you need is right on the Powers corridor.
Great breweries in that area as well, and it offers a bit of a lower price point than Briargate, but I think it has the same amount of amenities and so forth for it.
No, it does. It does. So let's go to the northeast.
All right.
So the northeast is going to be a bit midtown, right?
Yeah.
So you've got Academy and 25, and as you start going south on Academy, you're going to run into northeast.
Yeah. And
northeast is considered on both sides of Academy, and it is just a beautiful area. The majority of those homes were built the 50s, 60s, and 70s, but then there's some infill areas where there's brand new homes, and there are some lots that are anywhere from an acre to almost up to 5 acres in that area.
It's a pretty interesting and eclectic spot for
that's
anything
all, it
that
seems
you want.
Like all of Colorado Springs, when we use that word eclectic a lot,
I guess that's true, huh?
Yeah.
And if you're a mid-century modern nut, that is your spot, the northeast.
Truly. Let's talk about the central, including the town, the central area.
Yeah.
So these are many older homes.
Yeah.
You're going to have homes that are built in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, all areas. You might even get a little earlier, okay?
Yeah.
And some of these homes are going to range in price from, $300,000 up to $600,000 to $700,000, depending on how close you get to maybe the north end. The closer you get, you might get $800,000 or $900,000.
Right.
But you for the most part.
You have some fun craftsmen in there as well. I think the cool thing too is that within kind of that central area and connecting into town and stuff like that, that you have little places that are like mom and pop shops. You'll have coffee shops and bike shops and little grocery stores and stuff like that. So it kind of offers almost that small town feel, even though you're right in the middle of downtown.
And you can bike and hike to most all the areas down here. Really, really nice. So the next area, Matt, I coupled northwest and west.
Okay, yeah.
And those are actually two separate areas. The northwest is going to be basically north of like in the Woodman area.
Okay,
and the other is going to be south of Garden of the Gods.
Yeah.
But these are beautiful areas. If you want to live on the west side, people that live on the west side, by the way, they rarely ever move anywhere else unless they have to move completely out of the city or the state.
People tend to stay there. It just is nice. You are right backed up against the mountains,
foothills,
against the foothills there. You have Garden of the Gods in the midst of some of those right there. And it's pretty. You have the scrub oak. You have more of your wildlife as well. So you have some of the you get a few mountain lions, mostly bears, but you also have a lot of deer.
You don't see the lions, right?
Exactly. Until you see
great views. You can have views there of the mountains, and you can have views there of the city.
Yeah.
So let's go now over to the southwest
Okay.
area. Let's talk about Broadmoor.
Broadmoor. So it's centered around the Broadmoor Resort, which is a 5-star hotel
Right.
resort area that's world renowned. Very, very nice. It's more of your pricey kind of luxury home area.
It is, and you've got the Broadmoor, like you mentioned. If you're going to visit, these are one of the icons that you have to go see.
Yep.
Walk down the Hall of Fame, see everybody that has visited there over the decades and decades and decades of actors and athletes and presidents, you name it. It's a beautiful area. And while you're down there, we have to also talk about Broadmoor Bluffs.
Yeah. Kind of built onto those foothills, has great views of the city. Not as good of views of like Pikes Peak and that sort of thing that you're going to get from
But
other
the city
areas.
views
Are breathtaking.
Amazing.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
And it also gives you a lower price point to be able to get into that Broadmoor area.
Now, if you're going to happen to bike out of Broadmoor Bluffs, you better have some power legs, because when you come back up, it's all climbing.
All up.
Right? All right, so we left. I have the Fountain, Security, and Whitefield last, primarily because it's south.
Yeah.
Right? So this is an area that's really overlooked, close to Fort Carson. There's a ton of new building going down there.
Yeah.
And this is an area that you can get homes in the mid to high 200s and up. So it's a little, actually,
great.
if it's not a new home, it's a little uncommon to see something over 400,000. Right?
Yeah. And they're great spots for families. They have a lot of parks, good schools. And it really is a fun spot for people to be able
Absolutely.
to get into their first time home and be able to kind of find what it means to be family, I think.
Right, and as far as stores, everything that you want down in this area is right there. Some of the older homes, homes down there have been built from, the 1930s and up.
Yeah.
So you're going to get a lot of different character, some of the smaller homes, and then you get a taste of the new. It's a little bit where the old meets the new too, right there, right?
And pocketed throughout there as well are some like acre, half acre, even up to 5 acre lots,
Right.
kind of in the city, which is kind of
It's unusual.
yeah, it's very unusual, but it's really fun.
Horses in the city.
Yeah, kind of fun.
I love it. So this is a quick overview, sort of a 30,000 foot view.
Yeah. But if you liked what you saw, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell, and we will see you in the next video.
See you in the next video.
See you guys.
Bye bye.